All right, guys, really good job over 2 leagues here against Auckland City. We've got the final. We're playing in New Caledonia, so that's really the only worry. But like we're playing a colour, magenta. I mean, it's not even a colour; it's like a shade. So just like you've got to beat them because there's a bit on the line here, guys. We can't have a shade of a colour representing Oceania at a Club World Cup. Okay, it's got to be us. It's got to be Cashmere Technical. We deserve to be there. Let's win this and get there.
Party in the streets and the city's on fire.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 80 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both Cashmere Technical and the All Whites, and coming up today, hopefully going to win our third straight Champions League here with Cashmere Tech as we take on AS Magenta in the final over in New Caledonia, and off the back of that as well as taking on Christchurch United in the Southern League, we'll take on Miramar Rangers up from the Central League in the first round of the Chatham Cup. So if you're looking forward to that coming up in today's episode, we're hopefully going to book our ticket to the 2033 FIFA Club World Cup. And do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated, but we got to this point by getting past Auckland City in the semi-final yesterday. If you missed that one, over 2 legs, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. In the end, relatively comfortable win once we go back and look at the scores from the semi-finals. We beat them 4-1 on aggregate, a 1-0 win in the first leg, and 3-1 away from home, coming back from 1-0 down fairly early to go through to the final. And we're taking on AS Magenta, who got past the Solomon Warriors off the back of a very convincing 4-0 win in the second leg. In between today and today's episode, we've just played a couple of games in the Southern League and picked up pretty comfortable results there. 4-1 wins away at the Dunedin City Royals and also at home in the local derby against Fury Base. As you can see, very heavily rotated team for the last game that we did play, just to make sure all our first teamers would be fit for this Champions League final. To be fair, our rotation players probably good enough to get the job done against a team like AS Magenta with 1.5 star reputation, but being a final, want to play things safe and make sure we do make our way to that 2033 Club World Cup. I'm pretty sure this is the year we need to win. It's not actually listed in game as such, but it was the case 4 years ago when Western Suburbs won the Champions League and made their way to the FIFA Club World Cup the following seasons. Hopefully we can pick up a win here and we'll be off to a FIFA Club World Cup, which should give us a decent chance to hopefully improve the reputation of the club if we can pick up a couple of results, and also maybe improve that bank balance and potentially go back to being professional. In terms of our squad going into this final, just a couple of issues. The first one, Lorenzo Janssen picked up an injury in that semi-final yesterday. He's out for 1 more day, so we're not going to bother risking him in this final. We should be fine without him. And also, we have a suspension that is to our all-whites defensive midfielder in Louis Evans. Picked up 2 more yellow cards during the semi-finals, so he sits this one out as well. So that's a couple of first-teamers we are missing, but still, we should be okay playing a team for a shade of a colour, not even a real colour, but this one is away from home. Yet again, for some reason, we're away from home in a big cup game and for this Champions League final. And thankfully, it's at a real stadium. We can do a bus trip over in New Caledonia. And we start off with a hotel search here in New Caledonia. We do want to stay somewhere nice, seeing as we are overseas, going to spend a bit of time there. So we've decided to go to the Hotel Chateau Royal, which does look very nice indeed based on these pictures. Nice bit of artwork there. It's got a swimming pool, which might have a swim up bar, can't quite tell from that picture. Hopefully a nice celebratory atmosphere for us here at this hotel. It looks nice, good sort of island time, to be fair. I have been to New Caledonia before, but I think it was the other side of the island because that's where the cruise ships usually go. That's how I got there, but this does look like a pretty nice place to go. I mean, look at that view. That will be very nice, taking a shot there with the Champions League trophy if we don't bottle things, and that would take some bottle job. There's the nighttime view that looks pretty cool. This looks like a pretty good place to stay, even though it does leave a little bit of a bus trip. We'll make our way over to the next tab. It's about 15 minutes to the stadium now. Like a couple of days ago when we did a bus trip in Cameroon, I think some of this isn't quite on Google Maps, but some of it is, so it might be a bit janky, this bus trip that we are about to do, but hopefully get some decent sights and sounds here from over in New Caledonia as we make our way to the shade of colour in magenta and hopefully pick up this Champions League for a third straight season. But we'll try and start here at the hotel itself. Let's go down and see where we can first click on the road. You can see it's near quite a bit of stuff. Got a casino, a restaurant, tennis. There's all sorts around where we're staying here. Also La Plug inside the hotel, which is a restaurant, just to try and see what type of cuisine it might be. Looks like seafood, which would make sense over there. Also steak, yummy for meat eaters and whatnot. But we'll just see if we can have a look at the road and from which point. Not quite yet, but maybe once we make our way onto the promenade we can. And indeed that is the case. Just got to figure out here which way we need to face to keep going. Where we want to is that way. We'll just look at where we came back from, and there is the entrance to where we are staying. I'm pretty sure we'll keep making our way down the road and get to the stadium, but we'll stop in if anything interesting pops up. And so far on this bus trip, we're getting a nice view here of the ocean on the left hand side, and also a decent beach there too. That's much better than some of those beaches we saw at Auckland a little while ago now. That's a proper curved beach. That looks nice, decent amount of sand. That's how you do beaches Auckland, but now we're about to make our way inland just a little bit here as we take a right hand turn around this sort of roundabout there, even though it doesn't quite have one. But this is the way we're going, albeit I think might be about to get cut off here in terms of Google Maps. So we'll go forward to where we can next have a look at Street View. And we've gone forward here to just up the road a little bit, about to make our way up a bit of a hill here. Now I think I've actually been in this area in real life, making our way to the aquarium in New Caledonia on that cruise trip. But over on the left hand side here is make our way up this hill. There's a racetrack for horses, nice little lake there in the middle if one of them escapes and does need a swim, albeit they might not come back if they go for a swim, so hopefully that's not what happens. We're going to make our way past the racetrack and up the hill a bit. And now we've made our way past the racetrack a little bit. We're starting to get now into some more suburban New Caledonia, albeit on the right hand side here we do have a restaurant, Le Food Court. Of course, being New Caledonian, there is quite a heavy French influence, but that might be a spot where we can stop for some food on the way. We'll just give you guys a quick look here at what suburban New Caledonia does look like. To be fair, looks like the suburbs in New Zealand quite a bit, apart from the fact there's a lot more palm trees. Some of it does look like it's in a bit more of a tropical climate than it is here in New Zealand, but we'll keep making our way forward here. And we've just linked up with the road again that goes by the ocean. This time it's on the right hand side. As you can see, some pretty nice views here as we make our way towards the stadium, but we're going to keep going here down this almost highway. Kind of weird because we are driving on the right hand side of the road. Not normally what we do here in New Zealand, but obviously we're overseas. Hopefully don't crash into someone while looking at the ocean and the palm trees on the right hand side. And it's turning to a lovely day over here in New Caledonia, but of course important on some long bus trips, albeit this one isn't too long, toilet stops. And I'm pretty sure that there might be a toilet. Might have to go back a little bit, just the car's in the way, but that did look like a toilet over there. So I think we might just need to stop there, make sure the boys can relieve themselves before we continue. And still making our way towards the ground here alongside the ocean, but on the other side of the road here, starting to go past a few more sport facilities. Back there a bit was a skate park, but couldn't quite see it too well from the road. But here, got basketball / tennis courts, I believe that might be. Also, not too sure what those goals are for. Maybe a bit of handball, but next to that, I think we get some football fields here on the left-hand side, or rugby. But I think that might be for football, that big grassy area there, albeit a bit hard to tell. It could just be a scoreboard or something, but we'll see what else pops up here on our way to the stadium. If we have a look down here a bit further, can I see goals? I'm not sure if I can. Definitely some grassy areas. That looks like it could be a football field. I can almost see a goal there, but maybe not. Trying to clutch at straws here, I think, a little bit, trying to find football fields on our way to the ground. I do think I see goals there though, so I think we're starting to get to the football area in New Caledonia. Hopefully, not too far now to the stadium. And unfortunately, the skip forward quite a bit over something which could have been quite interesting, a gelato shop, which definitely would have been a stop on the bus trip because it's gelato. I know the boys probably can't have it, but I can. You know, I love a Movenpick. That's definitely where we're staying before we take on Miramar Rangers in that second game. In today's episode, we've made our way past that now, and I think we're now in the suburb of Magenta, the shade that we're playing in this final of the OFC Champions League. We'll keep making our way through here until we need to jump forward quite a bit again, which judging on how it's been going, won't be too much further. Coming up on the left or the right here, I think there is a fitness park. We'll just see what that looks like if we can get a look at it. Might be up there on the left just because there's a bit more room there or something like that. I think it might be over there on the other side of the roundabout, the fitness park. That might be it there, to be fair. Just looks like a lot of grass to run around, but apparently there's a fitness park somewhere. Maybe that's it. We'll keep going here and shouldn't be far away now from the stadium. And I'm not too sure how this has happened in terms of the angle, but I think we've made our way to the stadium. This is where we're playing today. I'm not sure what's going on here. This is a street view. You can see the parking outside the ground. There's some decent parking, albeit it doesn't look like it's really near an entrance. But there's the ground we're playing at. You can kind of see the outside of it. There's not a lot on the outside of the ground, but inside, again, it's kind of an Olympic-style stadium with a running track around the outside. Also got the hammer throw, discusy, shot put area in there, and a bit of other stuff. But there's the football ground. That's where we're playing over there in New Caledonia. I'll just see if I can find some better pictures here. And to be fair, judging by this, I think that previous view that we did have might have actually been the best look at the stadium. There's what it looks like from side-on view, which might be manager's view, seeing as there they are there in their little painted boxes. There's some other photos of this place, but honestly, it doesn't show too much. That might be one of the entrances, and also I think that might have been for a concert. I have no idea who that is, especially from this view. Kind of looks like a whiter version of Lionel Richie, but I don't know who that is. If anyone knows, let me know down in the comments. But that will do for this bus trip here in New Caledonia. And now it's time for us to win our third straight OFC Champions League. And here are the team sheets for this 2032 OFC Champions League final. First up, it is the home team in the shade of Magenta. 5 defenders with 2 defensive midfielders, and they got 3 further forward. There we are. Jamie Young comes in for Janssen, and also Vinicius for Evans because of suspension, but otherwise we're at full strength for this Champions League final. Probably respecting the opposition a little bit too much. Why are they wearing white instead of the colour that they're supposed to be? Because they're named after it. But anyway, highlight from kickoff here. Let's see if they give us something to think about early, or if we can get on top of them and show that we're going to be by far here the better team in this final, like we should be, albeit early stages. They are knocking the ball about quite nicely here, the shade, but thankfully that ball a bit too deep there for Charles, and Smith can play it back there for Costarella. Takes it out to the right-hand side before a very short pass to Georgios Victoros. Now goes out there to David Pidglabisi, the Italian right-back, and he starts to storm forward down that right-hand side, plays it back there to Jose Teixeira. Now Jamie Young Benitez gets in behind early, takes on a shot from a tight angle, comes off the woodwork. That one nearly gets us off to a flying start. We'll just see if anything else happens from this highlight. Pidglabisi with a shot, but that one gets plays wide. But it does look like here early are going to be on the front foot. A throw now inside the final third. Pidglabisi plays that into someone. They do mark it well, but then Ipuneso brought down, I think that might be Teixeira, and it's a penalty, and we'll see who's going to be taking these with no Lorenzo Janssen in the team. It's Riley Rogers. He's Australian, but this time he puts it away, and we're 1-0 up after only 3 minutes. Magenta cannot afford to give away penalties against us, because then they're going to be in all sorts of trouble. We take a very early lead from the spot, thanks to Riley Rogers. And a couple of minutes on from that opening goal, it's a throw-in for us here, albeit deep inside our own half, and in fact we give it away there to De Jong for Magenta, albeit they're going to float that one into the mixer. Thankfully, Costarella can get to that one before the attacker from Magenta, who are trying to throw some shade at us here in front of their home fans. But now McGoldrick starts to just make his way forward before deciding he's going to play that one to Xavier Smith down the left-hand side. Benitez, now we go in field to the goal scorer in Riley Rogers, just taking our time here on the balls. We go back there to Ollie McGoldrick. Still not kept for the All Whites. We'll see if he gets game time during the course of the OFC Nations Cup. Will depend on if someone like Ryan Billingsley does come back from injury. But now make our way into the final third. A little bit scrappy there as they do try and clear their lines off a ball played, and eventually they do, but not too far out. Xavier Smith, he will find Benitez, takes on a shot there from a tight angle and beats Wapane at his near post, and that makes it 2-0 after only 8 minutes. Going to be a tough day at the office here for Magenta if they don't get their act in gear pretty soon. That is a easy goal for us to score. Goalkeeper might be expected to do better there, but to be fair, his defenders are blocking him a little bit. It's a goal now to both our wingers, and we're 2-0 in front. And to be fair, we've had to wait a little while until the next highlight in this game, now just past the halfway part of this first half, and it is now Riley Rogers who makes his way down the right-hand side, plays it back to Jamie Young, the former Nelson Suburbs man, and goes out there to Pedro Bissi, so far doing well in this final. Nice ball in there for Manilo. It eventually finds its way into the back of net, but good chance there for Magenta to clear their lines, I felt like, but they kind of tripped over each other. The way Pani brothers there have just noticed they've got the same name, the goalkeeper and that defender, but Manilo there nearly butchered that chance, albeit it was a bit of a tough one with his head, but thankfully comes off the post, and they just can't quite deal with the danger there, those players, for Magenta, and that's now 3-0 at the 26-minute mark. And in fact, only a few minutes on from that third goal, now it's a free kick here. Pedro Bissi might be looking to make it, for he'll go for the top right corner, and that forces a decent save there out of their goalkeeper for Magenta, so a good chance there from a free kick. We'll see what happens from the subsequent corner, but Magenta probably can't afford to concede any more goals in this game. Now, Victoros with a header. That one comes off the ball, but we're going close, but it's still 3-0, and we're still looking pretty well in control here now. Jamie Young has just picked up an orange injury. Maybe need to deal with that off the back of this highlight, though blazes that one over the bar, and Young is off the field with that injury, so it might be a good idea here to take him off, just play for being safe, especially because he's an under-20 option for the first team in domestic competitions. The Tristan Turner can come on for him, but we're doing well here, 3-0 up just before half-time, albeit right off the back of that sub, there is another highlight. Might be a chance for us, though, to make it 4-0. Benitez cuts inside from that throw-in, takes on the shot himself, and actually forces a decent save there out of Wapane for Magenta, making a couple of saves here in this game, but also probably could have done a bit better for that goal that Manilo did score, the one that came off the post. Now we float that one far post again, looking for Victoros. That time the header goes over the bar. Still 3-0 late in the first half. And it looks like that'll be all the action for the first half of this OFC Champions League final in 2032. And thankfully, we're well in control here. 3-0 up, pretty much matching our XG as is expected, and with a decent amount of shots on target compared to our shots overall. So far, Magenta have done pretty much nothing, which is very nice indeed. And all our players out there on decent ratings. Of course, we have already used the sub, taking off Jamie Young with what might be an injury. And we get a highlight here as we get the second half back underway. Hopefully, one more goal should just absolutely put this one to bed and put the dagger into Magenta, and we'll see what happens to them off the back of that. But this really is a nice company watch for us in the final so far. Let's hope it continues. Rogers is on the ball. One of our goal scorers plays it back to Georgios Victoros, the former Cypriot. Now he is, of course, an option for the All Whites, albeit is behind McGoldrick in the pecking order. Texera for their Manilo, and actually that forces a decent one-handed save there from Wapane in goal to put it over the bar. So he's actually making quite a few saves in this game so far, albeit that is expected. A corner McGoldrick, decent header, but that one straight into the path of the goalkeeper. Still 3-0 early in the second half. And only a few minutes on from that first highlight of the half, now we're back down the final third here of Magenta with a throw. Benitez will get that one, floats it far post for Rogers, and yet again the woodwork comes to the rescue. That's a few times now that we've been very close to putting this game to bed. Haven't quite done it though, because the woodwork has come to the aid of the home team here. Maybe they're making the post a bit thicker down one end than the other, but Xavier Smith now has picked up a yellow card. Will play things safe at 3-0 in front and bring on Mateus in his place. But everyone else out there doing a good job, and right off the back of that, here he is taking a throw for us just inside of the Magenta half. Texera plays that in to Marcus Vinicius. Now Rogers plays it back to the Brazilian. That's a creep ball before playing that one out to Pedro Bissi. So far, I think he's got an assist. There's another one, because Manilo will scoop that one home. I think that's now him on a hat-trick in a Champions League final. That makes it 4-0, and that should really put this game to bed. Some good patient play for us here, even though we are supposed to be playing with a higher tempo, but Pedro Bissi fizzes that one in, and Medilo beats the goalkeeper there from a tight angle to make it 4-0 Cashmere Tech. And again, going forward 5 minutes from that previous highlight, now there is a corner here in our favour, and someone's handballed that for Magenta inside the box, so a chance for us here again from the penalty spot. I think Riley Rogers will get a chance to also get himself on a hat-trick in this Champions League final. That time the goalkeeper got a bit closer, Rogers going down the middle, kind of like he did in that Chatham Cup quarter-final penalty shootout, which we lost from last season, but thankfully that one does get through the hands, still makes its way into the back of the net, 5-0. This is all done and dusted, you'd imagine, with a half hour still left. And we're just about to make our way into the last 15 minutes of this game, so we may as well make our last couple of subs here, give some players a rest, seeing as this one is well under control. Pedro Bissi playing well. We'll bring on Louis Enrique in his place, give the club captain a bit of game time, and also might be worth here giving some game time to our centre-backs. They do look like they might be in need of a run, so Courtney Perkins and Isaac Hughes, they can come off the bench. That's all our subs used with 15 minutes left and a 5-0 lead in the final. And only a few minutes on from those final subs, we do get another highlight here in this game. We do win that one there from that goal kick, albeit Waipane does control it off of the back of that ball that cleared it from his brother in goal. There'll be a bit of aerial ping pong there. We do quite well now. We get a chance to hit them on the counter attack, albeit good foot in there on Matty Lowe. There's a late chance here for Magenta to pick up a goal. Hernandez 1-on-1 with Costarella, but blast that one wide. That was the chance for them to grab a goal in this Champions League final, but they kind of blow it. We'll just see now what happens in the last couple of minutes of this game. With 6 left, there is a goal kick by Pane, pumps that one deep, and unfortunately, thought we were going to win that one. Manilo can't quite, but thankfully get it back then with our defence down our right-hand side, and then it goes out there to Christian Benitez, who did score, I think it was the second goal in this game. He gets the ball back here down our left-hand side, just sizes men up here before playing that one back to Vinicius. Now Louis Enrique takes on a shot. That one gets blocked. Let's see if this highlight does continue as Hernandez does clear that one, and Vinicius tracks back nicely to get the ball back for us. Our Brazilians linking up here in the last couple of minutes of this Champions League final. Teixeira, nice ball for there. Rogers wins it off of a defender, and it falls to Manilo, who will pick up a hat-trick in this Champions League final. That makes it 6-0. Not too sure here if they're blaming the goalkeeper or if it's the brother that lost that ball to Riley Rogers, but Teixeira, it was a nice ball forward indeed. It's the brother, so that makes a bit more sense. Was getting confused there. Thought they were trying to blame the goalkeeper for that one, but of course, 2 players with the same name, but that's a hat-trick for Manilo, assisted by the other player who's on one in Riley Rogers. We're about to make our way now into 2 minutes of added time, and for the 3rd season in a row, we pick up the OFC Champions League. Be fair, I think the main game to win was yesterday in the semi-finals against Auckland City, but thankfully we got through that, and also before then got past West Tribe FC, and of course all the animal themed teams who were back in our group, and we get past the shade here in the final in New Caledonia. We'll wait for the trophy lift, but that is a very convincing win in the final, 6-0 to lift the 2032 OFC Champions League. So nothing too unexpected there in the final of the OFC Champions League. We pick it up there for the 3rd season in a row with a 6-0 win there in the final, thanks to that hat-trick from Matty Lowe. Jamie Young's injured, but thankfully not for too long. He should be available for our next couple of games. Domestically, that's quite useful with him counting as an under-20 player. Get a little bit of cash for that Champions League final win the board. They are happy with us. Everyone's quite happy with us. Nice to see the Cashmere Technical on that trophy. So often, they really need to not do the dash as an engraver. That looks a bit amateur because the C's at the start of each name don't quite line up, because doing a dash instead of a gap. Some engraving expertise for you guys there. That just makes it look a bit silly if it doesn't line up at the start of all the names. But anyway, enough about engraving because it's a bit boring. We win the OFC Champions League for a 3rd straight season. As of yet, no confirmation that gets us in the Club World Cup for next season. If it doesn't, that'll be annoying, but I'm pretty sure based on 4 years ago, that should be the case. But we've picked up the OFC Champions League for a 3rd straight time. We'll come back shortly, show you guys the highlights of our game against Christchurch United, or at least the result, before we take on Miramar Rangers in the 1st round of the Chatham Cup. And we've gone forward and we have played that one game in between the 2 that we're going to show you guys in today's episode. As you can see, very comprehensive win here over Christchurch United. Usually the team that also gets into the Southern League alongside us, albeit this season. Might not be the case based on this result. We thrashed them 6-1 in goal to Medilo and Riley Rogers before they both got injured only a few minutes later. Those are quite serious injuries too. So unfortunately, backing them up from the Champions League final might not have been the best idea, but Kevin Mina, he picked up a double. Al-Ghazali from the spot, and Louis Evans also chipped in with a goal as well. It was quite a good one in the second half, and we pick up a 6-1 win. They grabbed one during the second half, but it was only a consolation effort. So I'll just give you guys a quick look here at the tables in the National League. I just realised, don't think I've done that so far this season with the OFC Champions League going on. So far, Auckland City are on top of the Northern League and with games in hand as well, albeit Hamilton Wanderers and Manurewa also quite a big gap on the rest of the teams in that Northern League. The Central League, Wellington Olympics so far doing pretty well on that, 5 points clear of Western Suburbs with a fight for the remaining spot. And the Southern League, we're 3 points clear with a game in hand over Mosgiel in second. That's a bit surprising from down in Dunedin. Nelson Suburbs also up there, as well as Otago Uni and Christchurch United. Aren't quite out of the fight yet, only 3 points between them and second place. So it'll be interesting to see who does go to the National League Championship phase alongside us, because you imagine we'd be doing that yet again as the defending champions a couple of years in a row. But next up, we're going to take on the 7th place team in the Central League in Miramar Rangers. I've been going a little while today, so don't think we'll do a bus trip for this one. Interesting to see their vice captain, Shaun Stride. Now I'm trying to remember if he was AFC Auckland or Cashmere Tech. He was Cashmere Tech. He then went to Sydney Olympic, but has made his way back to New Zealand to Miramar Rangers. There's one of our former players there at Miramar Rangers. I dare say it's probably going to be the only one, sponsored by a decent restaurant there in Wellington too, in Monsoon Poon. I went there on a cricket trip at school, so that's something I remember, but we will skip the bus trip for this one, seeing as we've already done one over in New Caledonia. But they're a decent team, actually higher star reputation than what we took on in the Champions League final, even though pretty sure so far in the save we haven't played them because they haven't made their way through to the championship phase of the National League. But with them being 7th in the Central League, you'd still imagine this is a team that we can beat, albeit we did suffer a few injuries in that game that we did just play against Christchurch United. Both Riley Rogers and Medilo are out for a little while. Rogers for 3 to 6 weeks, that is with a hamstring strain, and Medilo for 6 days to 3 weeks, that is with a pulled calf muscle. So a couple of regular starters are missing for this game. Also just coming back from injury, Janssen Young and Georgios Victoros. So a couple of injuries we are dealing with this being a cup game, are going to rotate a little bit, but hopefully can make our way through to the second round of the Chatham Cup, especially after last year we didn't win this one. Would like to do so this year because there is quite a bit of money on offer in this competition. Hopefully we can get on our way to picking up quite a bit of that by beating Miramar Rangers in the first round. And here are the team sheets for this first round clash in the Chatham Cup. The Miramar Rangers, 4-2-3-1. Gianni Bazookas up top. There's a name to remember, of course, from our first season of the save at AFC Auckland. Interesting that he's gone to the blue and black team from Wellington. We've made quite a few changes. I've missed them now because I was so fascinated about the fact that we're playing against Bazookas. We'll try and run through them now. Hawkins in goal, Courtney Perkins at right centre back, Mateus at left back, and as well as that, we've got Rodriguez at right wing, Kevin Mina back at left wing, being under 20, and Al-Ghazali up front with that injury to Matty Lowe. And he gets a good early chance there to put that one away, but unfortunately just scoops that one over the top left corner. So nearly got off to a flyer there at David Barrington Park. This is a ground I'm pretty sure haven't played at so far, so we could have done a bus trip. Maybe we'll do it in the future if we take these guys on yet again, because still got a long way to go in the save. It's only May. And I think FM24 is probably coming out around October, November. And it's only taken us 2 minutes to pick up the first goal in this game. Mina with the assist to his other under-20 player on the right-hand side in Louis Rodriguez. And we'll go off to a flyer, kind of like we did in that Champions League final. Clark, nice ball forward there to Kevin Mina. It's all the under-20 players linking up here at Cashmere Technical. Rodriguez will beat the goalkeeper there at his near post. And we take a very early 1-0 lead. And just short of the half-hour mark, we get the next highlight of this game. A bit of an interesting camera shot there as we pan from an end where nothing was happening to the other one. A bit of aerial ping-pong in there, looking for Bazookas, no doubt, but they can't quite find him. And we do really well there to get ourselves on the counter-attack with some headers clear forward to Kevin Mina, switches out to Rodriguez. Now it goes to Pedro Bissi, who set up a few goals in that Champions League final. This time he'll score one, and that's his first goal of the season at Cashmere Technical. Good work from us there, especially those headers, which did get us on the counter-attack, and that makes it 2-0, and Miramar might not be much tougher than what we've played in our last couple of games in that Champions League final, and also Christchurch United. Pedro Bissi makes it 2-0. And just about to make our way into the last couple of minutes of this first half, things are quieting down off the back of that second goal that we did score. And to be fair, there was a big gap in highlights before then, but just as I say that, there's a late one here in this first half, maybe a chance for Miramar Rangers to pull one back. They probably need to try and keep themselves in this game. That's a really average header clear from Hawkins. Haha's another player who used to play for us there at Miramar Rangers. He, of course, was from here at Cashmere Technical, certainly running in for a lot of our former players here at Miramar Rangers, but we now get a chance to do something on the counter-attack. Rodriguez squares that one for Clark. It goes to Young, back out to Rodriguez. There is a foul there on Kevin Mina. That was some good counter-attacking play, albeit did think there's someone might have been offside, but apparently not. And Al Ghazali with a chance from the penalty spot. The Australians showing here they can actually take penalties today. He puts that one away, bottom left corner, and that might put that game to bed right before half-time. That makes it 3-0. We'll see if there'll be the scoreline going in to the scheduled. Imagine so, only 2 minutes of added time, albeit, as I say that, there is a throw-in with only 20 seconds left here of the 2 minutes that were added on. Sam Clark plays that one forward to Kevin Mina, having a very good first half. He makes his way forward, and this time will pick up a goal, drives that one low and hard into the bottom right corner. It's a quick fire double. He deserves that too, having earned that penalty a couple of minutes ago, and that should put this game to bed nice and early, kind of like the Champions League final. To be fair, every game we're playing at the moment, we've been quite comfortably, which is nice because there was a while there that we weren't scoring that many goals, but this is one where we've been on our game throughout the entire episode, 4-0, and you'd like to think going to be pretty safely through to the next round of the Chatham Cup. Miramar Rangers have done absolutely nothing, which is a bit surprising considering they've got players like Bazookas and a couple of our former Cashmere Tech lads who, to be fair, did have a fair bit of potential when they were here and should be quite good in comparison to other players around the National League. But that first half, we absolutely did them, and they've taken Gianni off, which doesn't seem like a very good idea, albeit they do have a highlight here, and Paul Offal will put that one away, not Paul Eiffel. Eiffel, he's probably Eiffel compared to Paul Eiffel, but that is a bit of a disappointing start to the second half, honestly. Off the back of a good first one, we can see the goal there. Bit soft to Mateus, gets caught out the far post, and Eiffel can put that one away to make it 4-1. And a few minutes on from conceding that previous goal, now Mateus has picked up a yellow card. He was kind of at fault for that goal, so we're going to take him off for Al-Qatani at left back, one of our young players who's under 20. And going forward to the hour mark, now we've got a corner here down the other end. We put that one near post, and this time we're going to score through a header. It's Ollie McGoldrick. He also picks up his first goal of the season, maybe pushing for a spot in the All Whites for that OFC Nations Cup, where he might actually get some game time because all 3 group games are in pretty quick succession, albeit not too sure if you guys will see those games because it's the OFC Nations Cup. We're going to thrash teams by lots of goals, but that makes it 5-1, and it's pretty much game over, albeit that was probably the case at halftime, but especially now, seeing as Miramar did grab a goal back in the early stages of this half, and now Kevin Mina will get himself on a hat-trick from that ball from Pedro Bissi. He has proven to be a very good right back for us. Both he and Louis Enrique are 2 great right back options. Hopefully can keep them both around long enough to improve that area of the national team. But Pedro Bissi there with a left-footed cross, and Mina gets that one past the Miramar goalkeeper, who dives forward, which isn't the greatest idea, especially in hindsight. That makes it 6-1. Now we can bring someone on right back here for Pedro Bissi on a red heart, and Isaac Hughes can apparently play right back, so we'll see what he can do in the last 20 minutes of this game, as we're now 6-1 in front. And in fact, shortly off the back of that, a few more players go down to red hearts. We've got 3 options on the bench. Louis Evans is the one on a worse rating, so I think we'll take him off here for Lorenzo Janssen. He can play a bit as a deep-line playmaker. That's the position he first played in here at Cashmere. Takes to Sam Clark. He can go back, seeing as he's better at tackling, to that ball-wing midfield role. And that's our final sub. Shortly off the back of that, though, there's another highlight. It's a corner, and Isaac Hughes, who's barely been on the field, will score. I think that's his first goal for Cashmere Technical. And we're turning into a bit here of set piece FC. That makes it 7-1 with still 20 minutes left, and these guys might actually be worse than the shade that we bet in that Champions League final. We're on fire today, 7-1 up with still 15 minutes left. And it might be about to get worse here for Miramar Rangers, as they are on the attack, but they do give the ball away, albeit we give it straight back to them, and the goal scorer in Paul Eiffel, not Paul Eiffel. Make that perfectly clear. He's a manager now, not a player, but they actually go through here through Licio Ram, who will put that one away. He's a player who came up earlier in the save because he was South Korean, but was considering playing for the All Whites, even though he wasn't good enough to play for the All Whites with our striking options at that stage, including the likes of Chris Woods, so a couple of notable players in this Miramar Rangers team. But we're thrashing them. They grab another goal back, but we're still winning 7-2. And we're just about to make our way into injury time here in this first round tie in the Chatham Cup. And as you've seen, it's been absolute one-way traffic. They did grab 2 goals back in the second half, only won that half by 3-2. But we still thrashed them up in Wellington. Miramar Rangers, not very good, it's fair to say. That's why they're 7th in the Central League. We absolutely pumped them and are going to be making our way through to the second round. We'll come back shortly and see who we get in that round before trying to figure out what we come back for in tomorrow's episode. So a couple of very convincing wins for us there during the course of today's episode. Champions League final 6-0, Christchurch United 6-1 in the Southern League, and then Miramar Rangers 7-2 in that first round of the Chatham Cup. We have just hit the draw for the next round of that competition. That should be very easy. The Wellington Phoenix Thirds, and the Thirds are not a very good team, so that's going to be a nice one for us there up at Fraser Park with a capacity of 500 people. Macy Fraser Park, that's what that park's named after. Should be anyway, because she's good, Macy Fraser. She's off to America now after a good season with the Wellington Phoenix women. But that's who have gone in the second round of the Chatham Cup. And to be fair, that makes things a bit tough for me in the next episode, because coming up, OFC Nations Cup, which is going to be pretty boring, and Southern League, which is also not going to be too challenging based on how we're going so far this season here at Cashmere Technical. But if you enjoyed today's one with that OFC Champions League final and that cup tie against Miramar Rangers, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. I think we'll come back next time when something interesting happens, maybe some news, because as I said, the game's coming up. Don't look that interesting. Mosgiel away towards the end of the Southern League could be interesting. That's still 4 months away, so there might be a couple of pretty average episodes coming up just while I make my way through the rest of the season up until we get to the championship phase of the National League. We do have some All Whites games, but as I said, OFC Nations Cup, they are not going to be hard games. So yeah, we might just be coming back if something interesting does pop up news-wise in this save. But until next time I see you, for God knows what, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.